Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you can join me again today, where it's all about collecting physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, and DVDs, as you can see behind me, from all over the world. And today we're going to be deep diving into 4 different reviews. We're going to be doing The Legend of Bagger Vance, Stepford Wives, Dear God, and Rat Race. And I wanted to cover all 4 of these and do something a little special this time. That way there's numerous reviews inside one video. Gives you a little something special. No matter whether you're a guy or a gal, there's something here for each one of you. And I'm going to go into the specs on each one of these, what my thoughts are in each film, basically how they look on Blu-ray, and then tell you my review score about each one as we go through these. We've got a lot of exciting information to cover, so let's get right into this here. So starting off with Legend of Bagger Vance. I had already seen this film back in theaters many years ago when it came out back in 2000. I enjoyed the film. I actually think it's one of Robert Redford, he's the director of it, one of his best films that he directed, and I really enjoyed it. I actually think Will Smith, it's actually one of my favorite roles that Will Smith was in. Matt Damon's great in it, Charlize Theron's great in it, and overall it's just one of those feel-good, really good movies. And a lot of people looked at it as kind of like a sports golf movie. I look more or less as this film as the power of the human spirit. Yes, it has to do with golfing, but it's more or less the story of how can the human spirit basically conquer or get over and forgive and move forward and basically move on from things that have happened in our lives that are either tragic or sad or that have really affected us. And that's where I felt like the film really excelled, and it was really good. The acting in it is top notch. It's really well done. Will Smith's great, as I said. Matt Damon, their interaction between each other I thought was so well done. And it's one of those films that to this day I really enjoyed. So I was excited for this to come out on Blu-ray. This is the first time it's ever been released on Blu-ray anywhere in the world. And so I was interested to pick this up and see what they've done with it, what the quality is. But as far as the film goes, don't go into it thinking of it as just a sports movie. It's so much more than that. It's more or less the story of Matt Damon learning to move on from the tragic things and the basically trauma he's had in his life, and basically Will Smith helping him to move on, and Charlize Theron basically coming into it as the love interest. And it's kind of like a love, mystery, sports movie, just about the human emotion and human spirit. So I definitely enjoyed it, and Robert Redford did a great job directing it. So the film itself I already liked. Now, as far as the case goes and everything like that, it comes in your Blu-ray case here. Obviously it has your spine on the side here where it says The Legend of Bagger Vance, and then on the back it goes through it. And I'll touch on the special features in this. It did come with Robert Redford behind the scenes talking about the insights into Legend of Bagger Vance, his thoughts behind why he was so excited to direct it and work on this film. Behind the scenes production featurettes, theatrical trailer, and then theatrical teaser. Now, those are your special features that are contained in it. As far as audio options that go on this, it does come with English Dolby True HD 5.1, and then it has French Dolby Digital 2.0. So it does have several different audio options for it. It does include subtitles, both in French and in English. So that's really nice for those of you that need subtitles. They did include subtitles in this release as well, which is very nice. Now the film, as I said, came out back in 2000. It is rated PG-13, and it's not very intense. I mean, it does have some war scenes in it, a little bit of action and violence. They mostly had a little bit of sensuality in it, a scene between him and Charlize Theron, and that's about it. I mean, it was pretty clean of a film. I would say that I did enjoy it for that sense of it. There's not much of anything in it that you have to be really worried about. Now, inside the case here, there's not much inside the case. Basically, it's got one of these eco cases, which I do not like. I do not like these eco cases at all. I like them to have the full thing to protect the disc. These eco cases get damaged very easily and don't protect the disc very well. But it's got your disc on it, no artwork behind it, and that's basically it. But to be honest with you, for the price of these and what they're going for, I'm okay with what they did with it, because you have to understand the price-wise for these, they're right around 10 bucks. They've been on sale for 10 bucks lately, and as of making this review, it's currently on sale on Amazon for $9.99, but that goes up and down. I've seen it go for anywhere from $12.99 down to $9.99, but that's about what it is, which is a decent price for a brand new release. Now, something you got to keep in mind and keep your expectations for this. This is not a full remaster. This is a full 1080p HD release on Blu-ray, but it's not a remaster. So what that means and what you're going to see is, as always, I will be showing screenshots up above of what it actually will look like. But to tell you what I see with my eyes, it's not going to be like Flight of the Navigator, where it's a full restoration remaster where they've taken out all the speckles or basically taken out any damage in it. It does have speckles throughout it, heavy film grain, and it does look decent and it does look nice, being an upgrade obviously to full 1080p HD for the first time. But it's not a restoration and remaster. So when you look at it, it's not going to be as sharp an image as what you're going to see on a lot of these restorations and remasters. It looks nice, but it's not going to be super crisp and clean like some of them. Now, they did not use DNR on it, which is appreciated. So it does have all that film grain in it. They didn't take that out, but when you're comparing this to something like what we've talked about recently, like on the Flight of the Navigator remaster, it's not going to be as crisp and clean as that. But again, you're also talking about a $10 Blu-ray set here, and this is the first time it's ever been put on Blu-ray. The original release back in 2000, it was released on DVD. That's the only release that's ever existed in physical media of this. So getting this on Blu-ray is a big upgrade over those DVDs, but keep in mind it's not a remaster, so set your expectations on that. It's going to be a softer looking image than a lot of remasters are. But it does look decent on this, and it does look good. Now, it does come on a Blu-ray BD50, so they gave plenty of room for the content that's on it to be on this. The film only runs 126 minutes, so for that BD50 Blu-ray disc, there's plenty of room for the content on here. They didn't compress it too much or try to do too much with shoving it into a smaller disc, so that is appreciated. As far as the region coding goes on this disc, it is Region A locked. Now, as I go through each one of these, there's some interesting things about each title as I go through it, so make sure you stick around through these. But this one was Region A locked, so if you live outside of the US or you don't have a region-free player outside of the US or Canada or the Region A territories, you are going to need a region-free player if you live outside of the Region A territories to watch this. But for those that live inside US and the Region A territories, you're going to be able to watch this no problem. The aspect ratio on this is 1.85:1, so it does look good on that. It looked great on my TV, and the full 1080p over the old DVDs is drastic upgrade. And for the $10 price upgrade versus what you had on your DVDs, especially because the DVDs went out of print a long time ago, this is a huge upgrade over those, and I'm glad to have it in my collection now because it's a really, really great film. Now, for The Legend of Bagger Vance, my review score for this one, with the film and as far as what I thought the upgrade, the value of it being only $9.99, roughly around that $12 to $10 mark. So my review score for this one's going to be an 8.6. And that's a good review score for it. It just wasn't above a 9 or into the 10s because simply I did think it could have used a full remaster to get rid of some of the specks and things like that that come up. There are some black specks throughout the image that you'll see as you're watching it that I felt like they could have cleaned the image up a little bit more, but we would have been looking at a higher price range. They probably would have sold this for right around $20 or $25, like those Paramount Presents titles they've been doing remasters on. Those all come around between $20 to $25. So basically, for half the price of that, they released it at a full 1080p HD image, but it doesn't have the full remaster on it. It's simply they put it on with the full 1080p image without doing too much to it. So at that price point, that's why it did get an 8.6, and that's a great review score for it. I highly suggest picking up the film and supporting this release because Paramount is doing a great job releasing these. And I got a lot of these Paramount releases to go through with you today, which is why I wanted to do 4 of these reviews all at once. That way you have a bunch of different things that, depending on what you like, what films you're looking at, there's a bunch of different suggestions of what films and what the review scores are on them, so you know whether you want to pick some of these up or not. But for $9.99, $12 range, I highly recommend the release. 8.6 is a great review score. So before we get to the next review here, I've got something I want to cover real quick with all of you. You're not going to want to miss out, so make sure you stick around here. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to give this video a like. Click that subscribe button down below and the bell notification right next to it. That way you don't miss out on any of this exclusive content only on my YouTube channel. So make sure you give this video a like, click that subscribe button and the bell notification right next to it. That way it notifies you every time I release a new review, just like this one today. And as always, I will have all of the links for everything I'm talking about listed right in the description section right below this video. You click that description section, it opens up, and I have the Amazon links listed out for each one of these. So that way it makes it nice and easy for you to go out there, click on those, and you can purchase these. That way you can add these to your collection if you so decide to, and that's right down in the description section below. And you can always follow me on my Instagram or my Facebook, which is the name of the channel, In Search of Physical Media. All right, we've got a lot of exciting stuff to cover. Let's dive right back into this review now. All right, coming into Stepford Wives. Now, Stepford Wives I didn't like as much as Bagger Vance. I saw this originally when it came out back in 2004 in the theaters, and I have it on DVD, but it did not look great on DVD. The DVD suffered from numerous things, interlacing, and the colors were horrible on it, it had horrible banding on it, and obviously it desperately needed an upgrade. This is another title that is the first time worldwide that has ever been released on Blu Ray. So this was another exciting release from Paramount, another catalog title that they've never released until just now. And all of these titles just came out this week. That's why I wanted to get this review out to all of you as soon as possible. All you guys, all you gals, these just came out this week. So these are new ones that you're going to want to pick up so that way you can add them to your collection. Stepford Wives is kind of a sci-fi, I won't call it an action movie, but it's kind of a sci-fi mystery thriller with a little bit of romance, and it's just kind of a hard film to put in one category. Nicole Kidman's great in it, Matthew Broderick's great in it, Bette Midler's great in it, Christopher Walken, he's great in everything he does. I'm a big Christopher Walken fan, and he's great in this. So if you like any of those actors, this is one of those films you're going to want to pick up. And again, this is another one that's a budget title that you're looking at about $10, $9.99 as of making this video here this week. It's on sale right now at Amazon for $9.99. Now that fluctuates, so if you're watching this after this week, it's been going up and down over the last couple of weeks for pre-orders between $12.99 to $9.99, but it's been hovering right around there. So it is a decent priced release. Now, this is a full 1080p release as well, but it is not a full remaster. So again, it's going to still have some of your speckles in it, there's some little areas that had a little bit of damage on the film. Not horrible, because the film was released in 2004, it does look decent on it, especially because it's the first time it's being basically put out at full 1080p. But it's not a full remaster like what I talked about with those Paramount Presents titles. So it's kind of somewhere in the mid-range on that. It does look drastically better than the DVDs did of this, hands down. So you're definitely getting a better upgrade for the $9.99. It is worth it. Now, this one has some interesting things on it. Now, the aspect ratio is 1.85:1. The film is rated PG-13. And as far as it goes, it basically has some little bit of sensuality in it, a little bit of language, and a little bit of violence. It's not extreme, and I think it was done tastefully. So as far as that goes, there's not much in it that you're going to notice that's real extreme on it. It mostly has to do with, and I don't want to give too much away, but it does have to do with basically people getting abducted and things happening, and that's kind of where the violence comes through in it. But it's kind of one of these things that basically Nicole Kidman and Matthew Broderick move to a ritzy neighborhood, and it's about the things that are kind of going on in the neighborhood that are slightly creepy, and it's a mystery and what's going on. And kind of when you find out what's going on, if you've seen the original Stepford Wives, you know what I'm talking about. It is kind of a surprise, and it's definitely worth your time. It's not going to be an Oscar winner or Academy Award winner, but it's an entertaining sci-fi adventure flick. So I definitely recommend it for those things, especially if you like the actors that are in it. Now, it does have English 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio. It has French Dolby Digital 5.1. It also has German, Japanese, and French Canadian Dolby Digital 5.1. So a large plethora of audio options on this, and there's a reason for that. This title is region free. Now, don't know why Paramount did some of these region free and some of them not. And that's why I said you're going to want to stick around through each one of these reviews. Because even if you're from outside of the country, some of these, just like this one, are region free. So even if it's not available in your country, you can import this because this one is a region free release. Tried it in all my players, so my A, my B, my C, my Xbox, my PS4, my PS5, all of them. Played in all of them, it didn't matter which one. It's a completely region-free title. And that's why they put all the different audio options on this. So you can play it German, you can play it French, Japanese, Canadian French, English, doesn't matter, has all the audio options. It also has all of the options in subtitles. English, French, German, Japanese, all available for subtitles on this. So no matter where you live in those countries, it's got all the subtitle options. Now, it's also on a BD50 Blu Ray disc. So again, plenty of room for the content that's on it. Now, this film only runs 92 minutes. So again, for the film itself, it's a shorter film. So there's plenty of room for what's on it. And I'll show you here what it's got here. Obviously, side Stepford Wives here. Then on the back here, it goes through the audio options, talking about the movie, and then obviously special features. And I'll read you off the special features here. It does come with commentary by director Frank Oz. And if any of you don't know Frank Oz, he did numerous films and he was a very popular director. I mean, some of the big ones he did was like Little Shop of Horrors, things like that. He's known for like comedy, like PG-13 movies, and he did a good job with this one. There's comedy in it. There's a little bit of like, I don't call it horror, but it's a mystery thriller. Anyhow, it does have behind the scenes the making of Stepford Wives, Stepford Wives, a definition, Stepford Wives, the architects behind the scenes, Stepford Wives, writing Stepford Wives, the Stepford husbands, Stepford deleted scenes, extended scenes, gag reels, and trailers. So a large plethora of special features on this. There was a lot more special features on this one than there was on the Bagger Vance one. Large amount of special features, and they're the same special features on this and Bagger Vance that was on the DVD. So you're not missing any special features, so that's nice. Now inside, it's going to be another Eco case. Again, you're looking at that $10 price range, so I think they're trying to save a little money by doing this. So it does have the Eco case, and then obviously Stepford Wives, printed disc. It talks about it on here. And again, this is a region-free release. So those of you that watch my channel from outside the country, this one you can import. If you've never owned this and you don't own it in your country, you can import this. It's region-free. And again, for the $10 price range, it's not going to cost you too much to have it imported anyways. But those of you that live in the region A, the US, Canada, things like that, you're fine on this anyways because it's region free. We can play it in our players anyways. Now, as far as the film, I did enjoy it. I thought Nicole Kidman was great in it. A lot of people didn't know this, but Faith Hill's in it as well, the country music artist who's married to Tim McGraw. And I liked her in it as well. Glenn Close is in it, and I'm missing some of the actors that are in it. There's a large amount of them. It's kind of an ensemble piece, the amount of people that were in it. But it's a really fun movie, a good sit down and a good time. And for 10 bucks, you can't go wrong. My review score for this one, the film, the actual image quality, again, because it's not a full remaster, you're looking at about an 8.2 on this. And that's my review score for the Stepford Wives. It's an 8.2. I actually thought the Stepford Wives did not look as crisp or as good as The Legend of Bagger Vance. The Legend of Bagger Vance got an 8.6 because the image just looked quite a bit better than the Stepford Wives. The Stepford Wives, especially the beginning of it, it was pretty grainy, and there was some things that I thought looked a lot more fuzzy. Now, on the DVDs, it looked fuzzy as well, which I do understand. He was using a film over the camera to give it that fuzzy effect. He was trying to give it an older film look, but because it didn't get a full remaster, that fuzziness kind of came out even more with the film grain. It does look drastically better than the DVD. So if you own the DVD, you're still getting a drastic upgrade for 10 bucks, 12 bucks. It's definitely worth the upgrade over that. But it didn't get as high a review score as The Legend of Bagger Vance. So you're looking at an 8.2 for this, and that's a decent score, but set your expectations correctly for this. That, again, it's not a full remaster, so it is a full 1080p picture, which as you'll see above, I'll try to show you as we've been going along so you can see, it is a little bit softer of an image. All right, we got the next one to get to now. All right, up next is Dear God, and this is one that surprised me. Most of you probably don't know this came out because it was kind of a hidden release that it's not in stores, and I had a hard time finding it. Basically, Amazon, and there's a couple other retailers that have it. Most retailers don't even list it, and most places don't even carry it. And I thought it was kind of a manufactured on demand Blu-ray because usually these smaller ones that most people don't carry are manufactured on demand. And it actually has a little Blu-ray disc symbol down here that is usually manufactured on demand. But I'll get to that in a minute because it kind of surprised me what I found out about it. But basically, Dear God is kind of a story of a con man that basically cons everybody, and he's been conning his whole life. And Greg Kinnear plays the con man, and he does a phenomenal job in it. It's actually a really great comedy. It's got a touching comedy to it, if you've ever seen a touching comedy. And it's actually directed by Gary Marshall. And if you know who Gary Marshall is, he did Pretty Woman and Runaway Bride and numerous other, like Julia Roberts, like romantic comedies, and he does a great job. And Dear God has always been one of those films that I grew up loving. My sister watched it nonstop. She had it on VHS and watched it nonstop. And then when it came out on DVD, she watched that thing nonstop. So I grew up watching it. It's one of those films that it's just a fun comedy. You might have seen it on cable, things like that. And so it's never been released on Blu-ray as well. All four of these films have never been released on Blu-ray. This is the first time that they've ever been released. So that's why this week was a big week. And I've talked about it on the channel before, that this week was a huge week for releases. Dear God is one of those I've been waiting for a long time. So this is a full 1080p HD. Again, not a full remaster, but it is the first time it's on full 1080p on Blu-ray. And I'll get this out of the bat right away. This is region free. So those of you that live all across the world that have never seen this release before, this is only available in the US as of right now. But this is another one that is 100% region free. Tested it in all my players, A, B, C, won't list them all off again, but tested them as I always do, and this one was 100% region free. No region coding. Don't know why Paramount did some of them with region locks and some of them not, but this one is region free. Audio option wise though, you only get English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. So if you're wanting to import this in France or things like that, keep that in mind. It only has the English DTS HD 5.1 Master Audio option on it. It does have subtitles in English though, so that's another great thing. For those of you that love subtitles, this release has subtitles as well as the previous two releases. So you do get your subtitle options on it. This is also on a BD50 Blu-ray disc. Now, this film came out in 1996, so it's a little bit older of a film. Now, this one was rated PG, so this one literally, I can't remember anything bad in this film. There might have been a little bit of language, but that's about it. The film's great. I love the comedy in it. I love Greg Kinnear in it. It has such a large plethora of like I won't call them little actors, but smaller bit role actors that basically they were bigger actors, but they played small roles in it, and they all added such a great feel to this movie. And it's basically about Greg Kinnear, and he's trying to defraud the postal system to make money. And it's how he changes and sees the good in people, and it just all around a wonderful feel-good comedy. Can't recommend the film enough if you haven't seen it. I love the film. Now, the film does run 112 minutes, so again, plenty of room on the disc. And here's why. There is no special features on it. You literally get the movie with the audio options, with the menu, and then obviously the subtitles. So I was a little disappointed that there wasn't any special features on this, but my understanding is because Paramount was trying to release a bunch of these, and they just didn't spend too much time on Dear God. But here's the crazy thing. The image quality on Dear God versus the other 3 releases that I'm reviewing actually looked the best of all 4 of these. So I actually thought the image quality on this looked pretty darn good. So I actually thought they didn't really have to do much, and to be honest, it didn't even need a remaster because putting this on 1080p HD with the Blu-ray, it looked really good. I actually thought this one looked the best of all of them. Now, price-wise, this one's drastically different. Because I had such a hard time finding this one anywhere, this one's been going for right around between $17 to $20. And it seems like about 17 is the lowest it's been, and it fluctuates between 17 to 19 up and down daily. So depending on when you find this, I'll post that link. As I said, all of these will be listed down in the description section below. That way it makes it nice and easy. So you don't have to go out there trying to find this, especially because this one was hard to find. But this one itself, you do pay a little bit more for, and I spent the money for it because I love the film so much and really enjoyed it. And it's such a great, clean comedy, which is rare these days. There's not very many really clean comedies that are just laugh out loud funny and enjoyable. So I spent the money for it because to me, it was something I definitely thought was worth the money to add to my collection. And I haven't seen any reviews for this one anywhere, and that's why I wanted to make sure to review this to get this out to all of you. Now, as far as it's got your Dear God cover on it, obviously it has Paramount listed on the side with your title on it, and it does match the other titles. Even though down here it has that manufactured on demand Blu-ray symbol, the rest of it, actually the spine, matches all the other Paramount releases. So if you put them all together, they look really nice on your bookshelf. And I really like how Paramount's matching them all. You got the faces of each main character on it, the title, and then the only thing that's different on this one is it says Blu-ray instead of the Blu-ray symbol on the bottom. But they all match, and I really like that. So coming to the back here, obviously it's got a picture of Greg Kinnear and a bunch of different actors that are in the film. Gary Marshall's listed on it. Obviously some of the actors that are really in it that I really love, like Tim Conway, he's in this, and he's great in this. And I'm not going to go through all the actors in it, but it's really a treat to watch, and it's just such a great, clean comedy. Now, it does talk about the writing on it. It talks about DTS HD Master Audio and no special features. Now, remember I was talking a little bit about this being a manufacturer-on-demand title that I thought it was? Well, this is what surprised me. When you open it up, it's not in an eco case, which I do appreciate, especially when you're paying $17 for the film. At least it's not in an eco case, so it's definitely more sturdy than the other cases. And you notice it's a regular Blu-ray disc. So it's not a manufacturer on demand. It's actually, and I'll show you that way you know, it's a regular Blu-ray disc. So it doesn't have anything different on it. It's not one of those like blue where it's like, you can tell that it's basically a print on demand Blu-ray. This is a regular manufactured Blu-ray disc, not one of those blue, like basically print at home Blu-rays. So that is nice that it does come with a regular Blu-ray disc. So it's kind of a mid-range, I don't know whether to call it manufactured on demand because it's kind of one of those weird titles. They didn't put special features on it, but the image quality looked great on it. And the film was great. And I did appreciate that it's not on one of those print-on-demand Blu-rays because I like having them actually where it's manufactured, where it's an actual disc with the printing on the disc. And so I did appreciate that, and I did like that it wasn't in one of those eco-thin cases because in my collection, I like to keep them safe, and I just like the cases to be stronger. Now, my review score for this one, because I enjoyed the film so much, and I said I did really think it looked the best out of all 4 of these reviews, this one got an 8.8. Now, I understand some of you might say, well, it didn't have any special features in it. And I get that. I would have rather there be special features in it. But because the image quality looks so much better on this one, and it really did kind of look like they remastered it and actually did some work on it, it looked great. So for this, it does get an 8.8, and I highly suggest picking this film up. If you haven't seen it and you like those feel-good comedies where you laugh and makes you tear up a little bit, and it's got such a good story that you walk away saying, that was worth my time, I recommend picking up Dear God. Greg Kinnear was great in it, and it's a great film. I absolutely love this film. And even for the $17 to $20, I recommend picking this up. And because it's hard to find, like I said, I put that link down there. That way it's easy for you to go out there and order this. But I recommend picking this one up and adding it to your collection because Paramount's doing an amazing job, and I want to support things like this so they know to keep releasing these because first time ever on Blu-ray. And keep in mind, for those of you that are watching this outside the country, this one's also region free. So that link I posted down there for Amazon, you can go down there and import it and have it shipped to your country because this is another region-free release from Paramount. All right, let's get to the next one here. All right, last but not least is Rat Race, and I love Rat Race. I've talked about this before on the channel a long time ago, letting all of you know that this one was coming out. And because I just got this one in this week, had to do the review on it because I wanted to let you all know about this. Now, this is Rat Race. Obviously, it's got a million actors in it. I'm not going to list them all off, but basically, this is an ensemble comedy. Every actor you can think of makes an appearance, not everyone, but millions of them. And I'll just list some of them off. Rowan Atkinson, John Cleese, Whoopi Goldberg, Cuba Gooding Jr., Seth Rogen, John Lovitz, Breckin Meyer, Amy Smart, and that's just some of them. I haven't even listed them all off. But it's one of those comedies that basically starts off a little awkward, stays a little awkward, but then it just gets funnier as it keeps rolling. And I'm talking some outrageous stuff happens. And if you've ever seen this film, basically they're all competing to win money. That they have told that they have to arrive at a certain place at a certain time to win the money. And so it's a rat race. They're all running and driving and flying and doing everything they can to arrive to win this money. And it's hilarious what happens to them along the way. And each one's a different character. And the stuff that they go through, the stuff that they do, the stuff that happens to them. I mean, to me, one of the funniest scenes to this day is Prairie Dog in it. And I'm not meaning to be gross here, but man, do I laugh so hard every time I see that. And if you know what I mean and you've seen that film, if you haven't seen the film and you get to that, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be gross, but I've got kids. And man, things have happened when you have kids. And sometimes you just got to laugh. I mean, I'd never do that to my kids. But hey, man, in that film, I laughed so hard because things happen with kids. And anyhow, the film's great. Rat Race is a recommended comedy. Now, it is a little dirty in some scenes. There's some language and some crude humor, but that's what it got rated for. And I'll just warn you off the bat, it's not clean like Dear God. It does have some crude humor in it and some language. But overall, compared to nowadays films, it's rated PG-13. It came out in 2001. And it's not nearly it's not a rated R dirty flick. So it's pretty decent as far as that goes, but it is hilarious. I still to this day love watching this film. Now, it comes in an aspect ratio of 2.39:1. It's in the full 1080p HD. It's not a remaster. Remember, this is just a full 1080p release. First time on Blu-ray anywhere. I'll get out of the way the region locking. This is region A locked. So again, makes no sense. Of the 4 titles I reviewed today, 2 of them are region free and 2 of them are region locked. Don't understand what Paramount's decision making was between all of these. I don't know if they only had the rights to release it in the US under region A for the first 2, or I don't know. But basically the Stepford Wives and Dear God are region free, and The Legend of Bagger Vance and Rat Race are region locked. So keep that in mind with a grain of salt that depending on where you live, if you got region free, you don't, this one is region A locked. Now, on the side, you got your Rat Race. Again, matches the same art as the other ones that we were talking about. On the back, it goes through, obviously, the cast, the crew, and then it talks about special features. I'll cover the special features here with you real quick. It has behind-the-scenes making of Rat Race, deleted scenes, gag reel, and the gag reel's great. It does have Rat Race, a conversation with Jerry Zucker and Andy Breckman. Jerry and Andy call the actors. The Giggles, another behind the scenes theatrical trailer, and these are the same special features that were on the DVD, so you're not missing any on those. So that was nice. It does have audio, DTS HD Master Audio English 5.1 and French Dolby Digital 5.1. It also includes English and French subtitles, so you get both subtitle options if you need those. It does come on the same BD50 Blu-ray disc, so plenty of room for the content because the film only runs 112 minutes, so it keeps it moving. It's very fast paced, and with the amount of characters in it, you spend a little time with each one, which I think is what made the film so great, is you didn't spend too long with any one character. You basically spend a little time with each one, kind of getting the stories that goes along, and then it goes back to the next one. It kept it moving so well, and I really enjoyed the film. Now, price-wise, this one is another one of those budget ones. They released it, you're looking at about 10 bucks. $9.99 is what it's on sale for right now through that Amazon link below. And it's been going up and down through the pre-order time till it came out. It's stayed at about $9.99 now. It might be $12 if you're watching this the week after, but then it usually goes up and down between the $9.99 to $12 price range, which is a great price for the set. And then inside, it's another one of those eco cases. Maybe they're saving money here, which is why they cut those little pieces of plastic out. Saves them a couple of dollars. I don't know. But anyhow, it's got your Rat Race disc in here. Talks about the film's special features. And I did like the disc. Again, it's not a manufactured on demand. It's a regular disc, so I did like that. And as far as the movie goes, it is hilarious. I recommend this comedy. If you haven't seen this comedy, picking it up and giving it a chance. Dear God's more a tug on your heartstrings comedy. This one's more or less just a flat out, sometimes a little bit cheesy, sometimes a little bit corny, sometimes a little bit crass, but all around adds it all together and is just a funny, downright funny comedy. So I definitely recommend Rat Race. It's a funny film. As far as my review score goes for this, you're looking at an 8.4. So for this release, you did get an 8.4. It's not as good looking as the Dear God was. So again, you pay a little bit more for Dear God because I think the image quality, they spent a little bit more time working on it. This one, the image quality is going to be more or less on par with The Legend of Bagger Vance. The lowest image quality of all four of these that I'm reviewing would definitely be the Stepford Wives. That one had the lowest image quality of all of them. It was a fuzzy look. The DVDs were fuzzy as well because of how he filmed it. He was trying to give it an older film look, and I think he used a fuzzier camera lens for it, or over the camera lens, which is why I think that had a fuzzier look. But translating that to 1080p in a Blu-ray, it definitely had a fuzzier and softer image. This one is about on par, just a little bit lower than The Legend of Bagger Vance. And then obviously the best looking of all four of these is Dear God. So that's kind of where they fall in tiers. You're looking at 8.4 for Rat Race, you're looking at 8.8 for Dear God, then you're looking at 8.2 for Stepford Wives, and then 8.6 for The Legend of Bagger Vance. And that's kind of where the range falls in of my liking the movies as well. And I always give my review scores based on how much I liked the movie, what I kind of saw as far as the disc goes, as far as how clear or sharp the image was, or if it looked like it was a really good remaster, the audio options, all of that goes into my review scores. So that's where you're falling in on these review scores. And Rat Race gets an 8.4, and I suggest picking it up, especially for the $9.99 price range. You can't go wrong for any of these releases. And Dear God, I think, is my favorite of all four of these releases. That if you're gonna pick up one, I'd probably suggest Dear God for the comedic, tugging your heartstrings film that's just an all-around good feeling film. Then I'd probably say, if you're looking for the second one, I'd get Legend of Bagger Vance, then Rat Race, and then the least would be the Stepford Wives. But let me know what you thought about these. Let me know if you've seen any of these films, kind of how you would rank them. Which one's your favorite? If you've seen these, which one's your least favorite? And if you're gonna pick any of these up, because I think for the price range, we need to support these releases from Paramount, because they're one of the only studios next to Warner Brothers that's going back to these catalog releases. And to be honest with you, I mean, Paramount's not charging us anywhere near what like Warner Archive does. I mean, heck, Warner Archive, every release they come out with ranges between 19 bucks all the way up to 30 bucks for their Blu-rays. Whereas this one, I mean, you're looking at 10 bucks for most of these, except for Dear God, which you're looking at $17.99 to 20 bucks. So again, I think the prices and the price points that basically Paramount's doing for these is great, because it means that collectors like you and me can afford to get them. I mean, heck, all four of these, you're maybe looking at 50 bucks. I mean, under 50 bucks. That's a great deal for four films, first time ever on Blu-ray. So I recommend picking them up. Let me know in the comments section below. Make sure to start the conversation down there. I'd love to hear from all of you as always. Let me know what of these you've seen, what you're excited to pick up, and what you're gonna pick up. what you thought of the films and how you'd rank them, because I'm always kind of curious how you'd rank them. Which one's your favorite? Which one's you're most excited about? I tried to do something special today and do 4 reviews all at once. That way you guys got a lot of content to go through, that guys and gals, you got a bunch of choices here. Things that maybe you like one film, maybe you haven't seen the other film. There's a bunch of different films here that you might want to pick up and try out, because guess what? They're pretty darn good films, and for the price, I think you're going to enjoy them. So make sure to let me know down below. And again, I will post all the links down in the description section below. That way it's nice and easy, because the Dear God was really hard to find. It was out of stock and a lot of places didn't even have it. So I posted that below as well as the rest of these. I had a great time today and I'm really excited about these films, and I hope Paramount keeps doing these releases, because the more they release, the more I buy. So let me know if you're gonna buy all this stuff and if you're excited about these. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up for me. Let me know you enjoyed these 4 reviews that I combined into one video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up for me. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the bell notification right next to it. That way you get notified every time I release any of these videos. Make sure to comment below and follow me on my Instagram or my Facebook, where I post extra hidden content. Just the name of the channel, In Search of Physical Media, both on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And you can always check the community section on my YouTube channel. I post extra things, deals I find, extra little reviews on there. So make sure you constantly check the community section right on this YouTube channel after you're subscribed. That's a little something for all my subscribers. As you're subscribed, I post extra stuff, and then you can access that on there, and it's just for my subscribers. I hope all of you have a blessed day, and I look forward to the time we get to do this again real soon.